We have Eddie Alvarez on the phone with us. Eddie, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm excellent, man.
Hey, what's up, Eddie? How are you, my friend?
How's it going, Mike?
Hey, I'm good, I'm good. Hey, well, yeah, I'm good, man. So, for the listeners, me and Eddie had it was a friendly back and forth on Twitter recently, but I think maybe you were referring some of the comments. Did I pick you to lose or something on Fox and you thought, you know what, screw Bisping, he's an asshole? And I fully understand that because I'm the same way when people pick against me. But as I said on Twitter, I'm a fan, man. I was there when you knocked out Dos Anjos. That was incredible. So that because of that, I picked you to beat Conor. And we have the same management team, Conor and I. And Conor didn't take too kindly to that. He sent me a bit of a nasty message. But yeah, Eddie, what's up, my friend? Thanks for joining us on the show.
Excellent. I'm glad we cleared the air.
Nothing but love.
I'm sure we'd run into each other here and there.
Yeah.
And I'm like you are. I'm opinionated. I have my opinions and things like that. But
there you go.
It was good to see what you were able to do, and incredible fight, man. Absolutely incredible fight.
Eddie,
Thanks,
does that actually offend you? Because, I mean, look, fighters, obviously people have to pick, especially if you're doing a lot of interviews. Mike obviously has a radio show, and he's on UFC, on Fox.
Mike picks it. Mike picks in a whole different manner. Michael calls someone a pussy, and Mike, the way Mike picks is a whole different way. There's one way to pick it, and there's the way Mike Bisping picks. But yeah, we're over it, so I don't want to react.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not backtrack. Come on, Eddie. There's nothing but love right now. Hey, congrats on the big fight. You know what? You versus Conor is a huge fight. You know, I mean, that's a big deal, man. Madison Square Garden, main event, the first ever one, yada, yada, yada. You know about all of this stuff. You came face-to-face with him at the press conference. I could see that there's no love lost between you guys. You can't wait to smash his face in. How's it all going? How's training camp? How are you feeling? What's going to go down when the fight happens?
We're excellent, man. I believe Mark Henry's been kind of game planning for Conor for a little bit because he thought Frankie Edgar was gonna go after him. So before we even had the fight, Mark Henry already had the game plan set. Already knew what we wanted to do. Knew what Conor was strong at. Knew what he was weak at. And the good thing is he just recently fought, and you can't change much in that small amount of time. So. We got a good scouting report, a good game plan, and I just think stylistically, the matchup is my fight to win. If I go out there and do what I'm good at, this I'm not going to say it's easy because no fight is easy, and especially against a guy who has a crowd like that on his side. But I'm going to get this job done, and I think I'm going to get it done violently and quickly.
Now, you've been kind of vocal about, the game plan against Conor. I believe I read somewhere you talked about it in an interview. Obviously, the game plan or the easiest path to victory is getting Conor McGregor to the ground. Do you think that that's the way to beat him?
Yeah, but, you don't... For me, I've been in the game long enough. I can be very patient. I can punch. I can knock people out. I can kick, I can wrestle, and I can take down. I don't have to rush anything. I can take my good old time and be patient, and I'm going to find my opening. And when I do, I always felt like, and it's pretty obvious, there's just deep wounds and deep holes in his game that are there to be exploited. And the opponents that have been picked in the past with him, if you're a fighter and you know anything about fighting, they're tailor-made for him to win. And I don't think he has come up against anyone like myself who is able to do the things I'm able to do.
Yeah, I think we all know what you're talking about there. And the only one that really could have been a bad matchup, he got on 2 weeks' notice, and that was Chad Mendes. Now, in this fight, I see a lot of similarities between your fight and the fight with Anthony Pettis. And I'm pretty sure you'll agree with that. And what you did there, you nullified all the brilliance of Anthony Pettis. We all know he's fantastic striking, he's fast, he's athletic, he can run off the side of the goddamn fucking cage, You pushed him up against that cage, you kept him there, and and you beat the guy. I mean, I'm assuming a similar game plan for Conor, correct?
Here's the thing about the Pettis fight, and people watch that fight and they assume, oh, we're gonna go after Conor the same exact way. That's not necessarily the same. I was only with Mark Henry for 2 months, and Mark Henry's system is a lot of codes, and you need to be able to communicate in order to fight his fight and fight his system. So I didn't know the codes going in that fight. I didn't know anything. So we wanted the game plan for that fight was simply to win, make sure we get that win, because Anthony Pettis was number 1 in the world at the time. Mm-hmm. I wasn't communicating right with my coach the way we should have been, because we only been going together 2 months, and so there wasn't a lot to do. I just had to go where he was weak, take him there, and exploit it. My game has grown leaps and bounds since the Anthony Pettis fight. Not only that, like confidence-wise, and in my team, my coaches, and myself, I've come so long since that fight. So, like you've seen in the Dos Anjos fight, I'm committing to my punches and committing to my strikes, and just doing things a lot differently, and I'm finding my power now.
When you say code, what do you mean by that? Because I feel like it's a little bit of like over the head MMA lingo for the casuals.
Well, we don't have a big group of people. Mark Henry only has a small group of people, and if anybody knows him and knows what he does, it's a whole different system of coaching, and a lot of it relies on communicating. So, you need to know. You get a big fat playbook. You need to know your plays. You need to know what to do in certain areas. It's very strategical, and it involves months of study and months of game planning with him and understanding how he fights and how he does things. So, like I said, going into the Pettis fight, I was only with him 2 months. So it was nearly impossible to get everything in by that time. So now it's all done. The language is clear. I understand the system. We communicate well, and I'm firing on all cylinders. Not just in fights, but in training. What I'm able to do in my training and my sparring has been incredible.
What now? When did you? Were you always that type of guy that would come in with that detailed of a game plan, or were you kind of like a balls to the wall? Let me just get in there and fight.
No, I had an idea. I had an idea, but it seemed like once I got hit and got knocked out by a guy or a flash knockout, that idea went out the window, and I'd get a little pissed off. And this was in my younger years, and then I'd throw all caution to the wind, and that's what I think people loved about the way I fought and things like that. But it definitely wasn't the way to have longevity in my career. So at some point I needed to come with a strategy and stick to it.
Do you have any good southpaws already in your gym, or is that something you have to source? Guys with a real good, strong left hand that like to throw wheel kicks and all that type of stuff. You got people that can replicate that?
Yeah, we have people. We have someone coming in, but as far as boxing, I'm in the Mecca. I've trained right beside Bernard Hopkins and some of the best southpaws and some of the best boxers in Philadelphia, and spar regularly with pro boxers. So I doubt anybody has hit me but hand or whatever you want to call it.
So you said an interesting point recently about Chad Mendes, that Conor doesn't move his head and he's easy to hit. And I guess to a certain degree that is correct, and Chad Mendes certainly did unload on him and got off on him a few times. Obviously, you're a lot bigger than Chad Mendes. You fought much bigger guys, and looking at that Dos Anjos fight, if you connect with the right spot, that Nate Diaz wobbled him on the feet. So obviously, you're looking at landing that big right hand and trying to knock Conor out in spectacular fashion. But what would you say is Conor's biggest weakness? What would you, if you were to nail it, one big weakness, what is Conor's problem?
I think technically Conor's a good fighter, technically. So, he does a good job. He probably does a lot of drills and things like that. So, technically, he's sound. But for me, fighting after a certain point, let's say, after a certain point of fatigue, technique doesn't matter, especially when you're in a championship fight. It comes down to will, it comes down to your spirit and your willingness to win the fight. And I think that's the main ingredient what makes a champion. And I think that's what he's missing. I honestly feel that's what he's missing. He's very technical. He's a clean, good fighter. He's for a round and a half. But when you get deeper into a fight, and we've all seen him in moments of adversity, and it just doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look like champion caliber. It doesn't look like someone who's willing to take a beating, sit on that stool, and come back out and give it back to the guy. It doesn't look that way.
Now, I want to switch gears a little bit just because I want to talk about New York and kind of the implications because it's big, and you guys just were all in New York City. I saw that promo that they played during UFC 204, and I literally got goosebumps. I'm talking about it now, and I'm getting goosebumps. Just comparatively to other events that you've been a part of, how big does this all feel? Because right now it's just starting to dawn on us in New York and the MMA media here how huge this really is. I think the average ticket resale price right now is something like $1,400 for nosebleeds, the worst seat in the house.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, what's funny is just how fast these things happen. It's just a testament to how awesome the UFC is in promoting their brand and promoting the fights. 3 years ago, I came in the UFC and I had a lackluster performance, and now we're 2.5, 3 years later, and we're fighting in the biggest event possibly in UFC history at the Madison Square Garden on the East Coast, my home. Words can't describe it. Even just walking around New York and walking around the Madison Square Garden, it's hard not to get goosebumps.
Yeah, after this, I guess, your life is going to change in some ways because your last fight, amazing performance, you won the title. But the big difference was that was on Fight Pass. This is the biggest ever UFC card that's been put on. It's going to have the most media attention. The new owners are fully in place. There's going to be celebrities all over the show. This is just going to be ridiculous. If you go out there and you beat Conor McGregor, you won't take his title because you're already the lightweight champ, but your life is going to utterly and completely change. Of course, it's going to be the biggest payday of your life as well. So you're going to be pretty excited in the Alvarez household.
Yeah, I got
life is good.
I got 4 mouths to feed over here, so these customers ain't getting any cheaper. But no, man, for me, I've been fighting so long. It's never really been a money game. I love it, and anybody who's followed my career knows I love it. And the money is just a byproduct of a lot of hard-fought battles, a lot of going against the best guys in the world, and it's cool that it happened. There was a point in my career where I didn't know if the money aspect of all this would ever happen, but I was happy with the way my career went and is going. So it's cool that it's actually manifesting itself and we can show something for it. Me and my wife and kids been through a whole hell of a lot with this fight game. So it's pretty cool to see, and for me, the money's cool, but just the competitiveness of it is the coolest part. To be in a fight where everybody's biting their nails, there's millions of people watching, and everybody just wants to find out who the better guy is. That's why I get up early and go to bed late.
Very cool. Eddie Alvarez, we do wish you the best of luck at UFC 205. Mike's not allowed to say it because they share a manager, but I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you here on the Countdown at SiriusXM. And, we really do wish you the best of luck, and we're very excited to watch you fight.
Nah, may the best man win, Eddie. Enjoy the moment. Take everything you can. All the best. Kick ass. And, thanks for joining us today as well. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. And, hey, follow me on at @EAlvarezFight. It's on Twitter, @EAlvarezFight, and on Instagram. Thanks so much.
Very cool.